Joe Forte and Ken Maurer, the three officials, as Shaquille O'Neal will be going up at center against Ken Gaddison.
Well, Charlotte wants the tempo in this game high. They feel like that if there's a weakness that the Magic has is that they can run against them. So they're going to try to run. The Magic are going to have to get back in transition. Shaquille's going to have to run the floor nicely and get back and plug the middle against Muggsy Bogues to try to keep him out of the middle of the lane.
Kendall Gill has been struggling as far as his shooting is concerned. Out to Gaddison. Out it comes to Larry Johnson. Johnson will have to post up inside as they'll try to offset the height disadvantage. Their tallest starter is 6'8", and here he is, Kenny Gaddison driving in. Shaquille is over there, and we have a foul.
See, Shaquille O'Neal has got to stay on the floor out there. He cannot block that shot out on the floor. He's got to stay down, force Kenny Gaddison to shoot that outside jumper, the pump fake into the lane area, and the foul was called. So Shaquille must stay on his feet out there.
Nick Anderson, the guilty party. It'll send Gaddison to the line. Coming off his finest season last year for the Charlotte Hornets. 6th year out of Old Dominion.
See, I envision when Alonzo Mourning is signed, Kenny Gaddison being an excellent backup power forward and an excellent backup center. Right now, he's cast as their starting center. It puts him in a very difficult matchup because he is undersized. But as a bench player coming in, he can be a very versatile player for you on the front line.
Hornets have been shooting 80% as a team from the line. They get 1 for 2 there. Here's Scott Skiles out of Michigan State, and Muggsy Bogues, who's always under you, always under your chin, picks him up.
Well, he's going to try to disrupt him, try to make him use a lot of shot clocks. You can already see it.
The lob inside to Shaquille. Can't get it to go as they bring it out to Johnny Newman. Newman's playing the best of his career in the estimation of Alan Bristol. Johnson from outside, and the rebound cleared by Nick Anderson.
You can see the quick shots by Charlotte. They're going to get right into their motion game. Larry Johnson's a trailer. He'll look to take that shot.
And it goes to Shaquille. Unstoppable when you get it that low.
Well, you let him get in the lane area, and Kenny Gaddison has no chance. He's got to try to get him out of the lane, but that's easier said than done. Shaquille at 7'1", 303. Kenny Gaddison about overmatched by about 50 pounds.
Muggsy Bogues from outside, and he's able to get 2. Bogues is not known for his shooting, but his penetration, his defensive play, he'll up tempo, everything as far as the Hornets are concerned.
Well, Gary, that's the shot you really wanted to take, is that medium-range jump shot.
The cutter inside goes Dennis Scott, and Scott doesn't get it to go. Larry Johnson with the rebound, the NBA Rookie of the Year a year ago. Bogues takes it inside to Newman, and that's what Muggsy Bogues does so well, 380 inside.
Well, again, transition. You saw Dennis Scott missed on one end. Johnny Newman just released, and he was the guy that was the beneficiary of Muggsy Bogues' penetration to the score.
Hornets with a 5-2 lead. Jeff Turner diving in, kicks it out to Dennis Scott. Scott coming back from that leg ailment of a year ago. Going to go to Shaquille on the block, and he is easily going to nail that one.
All he has to do is just take his time. There's no shot blockers on the floor for Charlotte, so Shaquille must take his time, get any shot he wants to around the basket.
Magic climb within 1. When you're 7-1, you get it that low, it's just unstoppable. You're going to see a lot of that as they'll try to work against Gaddison. Johnson off to Gaddison. Gaddison from outside, and he's able to connect.
Well, it looks like they're going to bring Kenny Gaddison away from the basket and allow him to shoot the little medium-range jump shot. They're not going to try to post Shaquille. What this will also do is give Larry Johnson space underneath the basket to post up, knowing Kenny Gaddison is the outlet man.
Nick Anderson, who loves to create off the dribble. Out to Scott. This is a 3.
Well, so much for missing the layup. That's more in his range right there. Dennis Scott, if he stays healthy with Shaquille on the floor, he might lead the league in three-point shots attempted and made this year.
Backdoor to Gill. Good heads-up pass from Kenny Gaddison.
Well, if you read the overplay, when you're struggling, as Kendall Gill is from the floor right now, shooting 34%, it's nice to get the quick layup to get the game started.
Anderson, this is his game, slashing inside. Gaddison has it momentarily, almost stripped. Here comes 5'3" Bogues on the move. Skiles able to deflect the ball. Scott gets it out to Nick Anderson. Up-tempo, Anderson inside. Gaddison got a piece of it, and good effort by Gaddison. He comes away with the defensive board.
I think Nick Anderson wanted a foul.
And here is Newman finishing.
See, Johnny Newman out twice now. That's 2 layups for Johnny Newman. Both times Dennis Scott has been down on the fast break, and no one has rotated back, so they're going to have to do a better job of matching to Johnny Newman in the transition.
Charlotte's hit 5 of their first 6 shots to take this 11-7 lead. Here's Turner backing out. Kicks it into O'Neal. Shaquille having to find out where the pressure's coming from. Gets it to Turner. Turner's an excellent shooter from 18 feet out.
He's actually a good guy to have in the starting lineup because he gives you a better shooter than Catledge or Brian Williams. And with Shaquille on the floor, you want guys who can space out and shoot the basketball.
They're going to have to suffer that more and more as they start to collapse inside on the 7'1" rookie. There's Newman having it stripped away by Dennis Scott. He hits hard, tries to save it, and we're going to have a held ball.
That's great hustle by Dennis Scott down on the floor.
22nd timeout, Magic. 22nd timeout, Orlando. Magic ball.
I think that Alan Bristow is upset here. I think this should be a jump ball, but we're going to see the deflection. Let's watch this. The ball's going to go loose. Now, Dennis Scott really doesn't have possession of the basketball, and I think he calls a 20-second timeout. Right here, he calls 20 seconds, but it should be a jump ball. Let's see what they do coming out, whether the Magic get the basketball, whether they're going to jump it up here at the free throw line.
Well, it was a 20-second timeout by the Magic, and we'll wait for that determination. Ken Maurer is standing near the circle. And Bristow, as you said, upset. Alan Bristow was such a competitor when he played, and it just translates into his coaching.
Well, Alan, I've known Alan since '73. He was the #1 pick in the second round for Philadelphia. I was #1 in the first round. We roomed together as rookies, so Alan is a competitor. He was an overachiever as a player, and it's good to see him have success down there in Charlotte with that young, exciting team.
So the Magic will inbound. There's your verdict.
That's a break, because really it should have been a jump ball.
11-9 now. Charlotte with a lead as we have 7:58 to go in the first quarter. Skiles, a double team on him, looking inside. He is such a determined player, so much understanding in the game. O'Neal backing in. Gaddison bodies him out, and the follow by O'Neal.
Well, he just can't handle him, Gary. Too strong. He forced him into a tough shot, and then he just couldn't check him out. He tried to put his body on him. It just wasn't good enough.
Boy, is that quickness, though. And here's Gaddison now. That's twice he's pulled up, and O'Neal's been inside, and he's canned him.
Well, that's a tough matchup. Again, he can shoot the outside shot. He's not going to post. He's going to trail. If the shot is there, he's going to take it.
13-11, Charlotte with the lead. Anderson trying to get it in Shaquille. They front him. Inside to Shaquille. He'll try to follow again. That is a big man inside trying to destroy that basket.
Look at him go down.
Look at this hustle by Shaquille. And the crowd, over 15,000, loves it. Skiles to Turner from the corner.
The great hustle by Shaquille to get on the floor and get the loose ball got his team 2 points.
And we have a foul as Newman riding inside. We're going to have a break in the action. Orlando calling the timeout with 6:57 to go in this first quarter. Charlotte.
He's had a lot of 3-second violations early in the year, but he cannot be allowed to get into that close to the basket, because look what happens now. The pass comes in there, and he's just going to overpower Gaddison. There's no way that you can get help. He misses the dunk, but watch the second effort. The ball is going to go loose, and just keep your eye on Shaquille O'Neal. He's going to pick up the loose basketball right there, and that effort right there gets his team an extra 2 points. But Kenny Gaddison's going to have to try to get him out of the lane.
Scott had committed the foul a moment ago. Here's a rebound controlled by O'Neal as we come back into play. 13 all, 6:48 to go now in this first quarter of play. Scott Skiles has a mismatch with Muggsy Bogues and able to shoot it over him.
See, Skiles tried to do too much last year. He did not have the help he has this year. He's playing under much better control. His shooting percentage is up. His assists is up. His turnovers are down. I think Scott Skiles is going to have a big year.
Here's Gaddison from outside. He's hit 2 from there. Dennis Scott comes away with the rebound. Scott at 6'8". You don't see a lot of guys that can have the shooting range at 6'8" that he has.
I need to swing it back to Dennis Scott. Let him drop the ball in the post, because he got an illegal defense on Larry Johnson.
There's the first warning now against Charlotte as a magical inbound. You mentioned Scott Skiles. He will benefit so much from Shaquille O'Neal, but Doug, everybody on this ball club's going to.
There's no doubt, because if you space the floor, Dennis Scott's going to get his 3-pointers. Jeff Turner's going to get open shots. Nick Anderson's going to have driving lanes. He's going to be an offense within itself. Now, he's got the ball. If there's a double team, Dennis Scott will get a 3.
Look at this quick feet. You see that, the way he was able to move inside? There's some moves he didn't have at LSU. 17-13. Shaquille now. 4 field goals for the night. Outside Kendall Gill. He's been struggling from the field, and Turner with a good defensive forward positioning inside. Scott Skiles, you got to prove you're better than he is every time out on the floor because of his great determination. And Bogues likewise has that warrior attitude. In it comes to Shaquille. Quick spin move. He is something to stop. Right now, playing so hard and playing with such confidence.
Well, I think what's going to have to happen is Alan Bristow started the game out, and he said, we're not going to double-team Shaquille unless he's in the lane. Well, right now, when Shaquille is making his moves, they're getting down there too late, and he's overpowering Kenny Gaddison. I think they're going to have to go back and get him on catch and force him to become a passer rather than allow him to get inside like this. He has 4 easy field goals in the game, and he's going to get your front line in foul trouble.
Addison committing the foul, his first. Shaquille having a tough time at the free throw line, not shooting well, 56%. They've been working extensively with him to try to improve his free throw shooting.
Well, the important thing is you don't try to change too many things. He steps up there, you give him a couple things to work on, and as he improves, then maybe you add some things, but you don't overload him because he'll get paralysis by analysis.
Like my golf swing. Boy, he looked good then, though, didn't he? He hit both of them dead center. Inside it goes. Newman, and Shaquille O'Neal commits a foul.
Now, Shaquille was about 1/10 of a second slow getting over there on that rotation. There was a double team. Shaquille's got to step up and take the cutter. He allowed Johnny Newman to get to the basket before he got there. A little pump fake got him in the air, and he drew the foul. Got to get the guy a little bit closer to the basket rather than wait for him to get inside where he's going to get the foul.
3 team fouls against Orlando as Newman at the line. Johnny Newman worked very hard in the offseason. He doesn't have a big body, so he has to work very hard to improve his strength. He is the kind of guy who, coming in here, is averaging 25.5 points. Had a high of 27 in the opener this year.
Well, I think when Charlotte becomes a great team, as we see them extend their defense, Johnny Newman will be a great guy to bring off the bench as an explosive 2-3 player that can score for you and change the game coming off the bench.
Anderson gets it to Shaquille O'Neal. The basket will count, and he is fouled, and they are not stopping the penetration inside to Shaquille O'Neal.
Charlotte extended their defense, and we saw Orlando work on this morning, getting the ball in the middle of the floor, and doing that, they were able to drive it down, get the ball to Shaquille. Shaquille is having his own way around the basket right now, but really, Gary, there's nothing that Kenny Gaddison can do. We see J.R. Reed into the game right now. Kenny Gaddison's doing the best he can do. He's just oversized, by Shaquille.
Overmatched. That's his second foul. Shaquille now with 13 points. It's 22-14, the Magic. There'll be some magical moments here with Shaquille O'Neal. Orlando right now on a 15-3 run. That's what Johnson does so well, is post up inside, but Nick Anderson there with a rebound.
Look at Shaquille run the floor, too. If they look for him, he's going to get another score here.
Anderson will take it to the hole instead, and Johnson to the rebound. You don't see a lot of big men leading the break down the floor like that. And here's Kendall Gill at the other end, and Jeff Turner has committed a foul.
Foul number 31, Jeff Turner.
Shaquille O'Neal.
14 foul.
They want to play him 45 minutes a game. As hard as he's playing, you wonder how he can keep up the pace. Usually gets tired after about 7 minutes, and they'll get him out of a game.
Well, now watch Shaquille. Larry Johnson, you don't even see Shaquille. Here he is in the picture right now. But look at him, the extension, and forces Larry Johnson to change that shot. It comes up a little short, so when you see the opponent shooting 45%, that doesn't mean he's blocking that many shots. It means he's changing a lot, because on the season, he only has 7 blocked shots, which is 3.5 a game. But the shots he changes around the basket lead to fast breaks the other way.
Brian Williams will come in, and that's just about what we expected. Get Shaquille out of there at the 4:50 mark. He has a tendency to get a little tired early, and then as he settles in, he can continue to play and show the stamina that they need.
Well, Matty Gukas, when we talked to him today, he said he felt like that he actually got stronger as the game went on after he got over that initial getting winded early in the game. So, Matty, we asked him about if there's minutes played restriction on him. He said, I'm going to play him as many minutes as I can.
Then I said, what, 45? Says, yeah, that sounds pretty good. Here's Turner, has 2 field goals already. Nice defensive effort by Johnson. Kicks it out to Muggsy Bogues. Bogues will take it in against Skiles. Delivers, intended for Newman, and Gill reached in instead and lost control of the ball. As now Del Curry will be checking in for the Charlotte Hornets. He is their long-range gunner.
The last possession, Jeff Turner tried to do a little bit more than Jeff Turner can do on the floor. He's a spot-up shooter. He tried to go one-on-one, forced a shot. Fortunately for he and the Magic, turnover by the Hornets gets the ball right back to them.
Dennis Scott trying to back in. Gets the job done. It won't go. He had Curry where he wanted him. Johnson with yet another rebound. He's averaging 11 coming in. He has 5 for the night already. Outside, a 2-pointer by Larry Johnson, and that shows you the range of the 6'7" second-year man.
See, the Magic have played a very, very good first quarter, and Charlotte's only down by 4, so they've sort of weathered the rush of Shaquille around the basket, and they're in good position here right now.
That was Larry Johnson's first 2 points of the night. There's J.R. Reed, who just checked in, deflecting that one to Scurry for the ball, and it's going to be Charlotte's basketball.
One of the problems that Charlotte's had this year is turnovers. They've turned the ball over 22 times a game. Many instances like that where they double-team Scotty Skiles and force him a tough pass. Deflection was knocked out of bounds. Charlotte has a chance to come within 2.
So J.R. Reed is in the ball game. Del Curry is in the game. And also Brian Williams is checked in for Orlando as we have a foul inside. It's going to be Turner committing his second foul.
Well, you can see right now that when Shaquille comes out of the game, Charlotte's game plan is we're going to go inside. We're going to go to Larry Johnson. We're going to go into the post, maybe to J.R. Reed. We're going to take advantage of the fact that now the Magic have no shot blockers on the floor other than maybe an active Brian Williams can block a few.
Well, they're in the penalty. That was the 15th foul. Johnson able to get the first one.
Substitution number 33.
As now Terry Catley, who's been battling back from a bruised rib, did not play in the second game. He was hurt in the first game. Now come in. He had been the starter instead of Jeff Turner at the beginning of the season.
Terry Catlidge is very active. He's a good rebounder. He can post. He can offensive rebound. So he will give them some inside presence. Now, probably the only guy that can score other than Brian Williams around the hoop.
They pick him up full court. Brian Williams a little out of control on the drive, but he's fouled. Brian Williams has been an interesting story. He's had how many blackouts? 3 or 4. I had lost count, and he really has not had an explanation of what his difficulty is. Anemic, they say. Maybe some problems with the irregular heartbeat. Trying to eat some red meat now to get some strength up.
Well, you can see right here he gets bumped a little bit, and it just knocks him off balance. That's the lack of strength right now and the conditioning that Brian Williams does not have from being out.
24-20, the Magic with the lead as Gill kicks it out to Curry. You got to spot up on him because he has unlimited range. Rebound is cleared by Catlidge. Catlidge is wearing somewhat of a sleeve around his midriff to try to protect those ribs that are still very sore. He's in some pain. And here's Curry with a steal. Skiles hit the floor hard after he released the ball. He's getting up really groggy as Curry breaking away to score 2.
Ball pressure against Scott Skiles. That's what Muggsy Bogues wants to do. He wants to keep the pressure on him, force him to make a lot of decisions. What you're seeing now, Dennis Scott bringing the ball up to get Muggsy off the ball because he's disrupting their offense.
And also give Scott a breather. It takes a lot of energy continuing to bring it up. And here is Bogues committing the foul and a chance for a three-point play now for Scott Skiles. Isn't that typical of Skiles? Gets knocked down and comes fighting right back. Timeout is called. 2:39 to go in this first quarter.
So Kim Early try to take the pass away immediately.
Into Brian Williams, who's really not in good shape by his own admittance, has that ball batted out of bounds. It'll still be Orlando's ball. It shows you again, though, how badly Matt Gukas wants him to play. They need a big guy to go in there when Shaquille can't go.
Well, when you look at their team, if Brian Williams and Catlidge can help them, it's going to prevent them from getting out-rebounded because Dennis Scott has 2 defensive rebounds in 80 minutes on the floor. You can't have Shaquille get every rebound. So they need a big guy to step in there and get some rebounds for him rather than depend on Shaquille on every possession.
His first 14 foul.
So that foul will go against Brian Williams, an offensive foul.
He moved on the screen as they tried to run screen roll, he and Dennis Scott.
2 minutes, less than 2 minutes remaining in the quarter.
Muggsy Bogues trying to get it inside to the interior of the offense. Curry missing from outside. Rebound by Nick Anderson. Anderson had 42 points, a career high in the first game this year. He's tried to pick up his defense. In fact, talking about he could be a defensive stopper for this team.
The isolation, Nick Anderson's going to try to go one-on-one against Kendall Gill. A little pump fake.
Brian Williams at 6'11" follows again, and he got it.
See, that's what he can do. He's very active. The one trouble he's having right now is finishing shots. He's doing everything right except finishing. That time, nice second effort.
And we'll have a foul on Williams. When you're out of shape, that's what happens, doesn't it? You don't put the finish on the shot.
You lose a little concentration. You don't have the normal lift in your legs, and you get a little tired and winded. And when you do, fatigue sets in and even lose more concentration. So Larry Johnson will go to the foul line, and this is what I thought they would try to do. With Shaquille out of the ball game, you got to go inside, take advantage while he's not there, soften up the interior of that defense.
1:26 left in the quarter. I assume they'll wait till the second quarter to bring Shaquille back as Johnson missing the free throw. He is shooting 65% from the line, and here comes rookie Tony Bennett, who's been a very pleasant surprise out of Wisconsin Green Bay.
Now he gives them a different look. He's not going to give you the speed and quickness, but he's going to give you better shooting, better spacing on the floor. He's a very heady, solid player, but he's not going to be able to give you the up-court pressure that Muggsy Bogues can, so he'll give you a different look. It's nice to be able to go to a different player and give you a different look.
He's a coach's kid. Played for his dad, Dick, in Wisconsin Green Bay. Skiles missing. Rebound by Kendall Gill.
Well, that was a poor shot by Scott Skiles. Those are the shots that got him in trouble last year.
Gill inside. Nice rejection by Nick Anderson. Anderson now on the break, and he's out of control and is going to have a foul called. It's going to go on Tony Bennett.
That's a good foul by Tony Bennett because Nick Anderson was around him. One more dribble and it would have been either a dunk or a layup.
His first penalty situation.
Kendall Gill, nice give and go. Nick Anderson relaxes just a moment. And there's the block shot. So excellent effort by Nick Anderson. Then he picks up the loose ball, and in transition, right, you're going to see the foul on Tony Bennett. It was 3-on-1 the moment he got around Tony Bennett.
Anderson a little out of control. They're in the penalty now with the 15th foul, and Anderson missing the free throw.
See, here's a problem for Orlando. If I look at their team, I say this worries me. They're a 60% free throw shooting team. Your two best players, Nick Anderson is a 50% free throw shooter. Shaquille O'Neal is under 60%. And when Terry Catlidge is healthy, he's under 60%. So free throw shooting could be a factor in this game. Charlotte is a 90% shooting team, so in a close game, you would give them the edge.
Yep, 60% as a team. Of course, stats early in the year can change in a hurry, but that is a concern. Nice reverse that time by Larry Johnson. He's got it all, doesn't he?
You got to bring him back to help, Gary. You can't let him go baseline. The double team is coming from the top on the dribble. You let him go baseline, he's all alone.
Larry Johnson with 7 points after a slow start. He has cut the lead to 3. Backing down is Anderson. 34 seconds left. 8 seconds on the shot clock, and a 3 by Dennis Scott, and a foul as well.
Now this is what Dennis Scott is so valuable. Nick Anderson did a great job waiting. The minute he saw his man leave to come double up, Dennis Scott spaced the floor. Del Curry tried to get there, was a moment late. We're going to see a rare 4-point play here if Dennis Scott can make this free throw.
It was Curry committing the foul, and here is the 4-point play. Well, Scott had 125 threes, which is an NBA rookie record. You think he could set the NBA record?
I think he's got a great chance, because all he has to do is spot up on the floor. He's going to shoot 5 or 6 a game.
J.R. Reed caught napping there. Wasn't quite ready for the pass, but he loads it up and hits it.
Yeah, I think Dennis Scott has a chance, if he stays healthy, to shoot somewhere in the high 200 three-pointers. I make something like that. I think he could shoot as many as 500 on the season.
But you said something. Stay healthy.
Exactly. Well, he's coming off that major surgery.
There's Catlidge with a nice move to the basket. Terry Catlidge now with his first 2 points. Johnson wanted to take it outside. Williams staying with him from the corner. Bennett, a good shooter, but doesn't get it there as the first quarter comes to a close. The Magic, unbeaten, coming in here at 2-0, leading the
position stats. In over 9 games, they're giving up over 122 points a game. So this is actually 11 games that they've played this way.
But a guy by the name of Alonzo Mourning could solve a few of those.
Exactly. He's going to take away a lot of the interior things and a lot of the rebounding, and hopefully that would bring the opponent's points down. So as we're negotiating here tonight for Alonzo, I hope he remembers this.
Shaquille, who was out for 4 minutes and 50 seconds in the first quarter, has 3 seconds. Now that's something we're seeing called a lot this year, the 3-second lane violation.
Well, out of his 12 turnovers this season, Shaquille had 2 3-seconds against Washington and 2 3-seconds against Miami. So 4 of his 12 violations have been 3 seconds. They've really been watching him on that. And it's been suggested he hasn't really adjusted from the college lane to the NBA lane, as O'Neal with the rebound. That's 4 for Shaquille. 36-29, the Magic with the lead. Scott, who had that 4-point play a while ago, tries to kick it outside, but he is held as he released the ball. You don't normally expect Dennis Scott to create off the dribble. I see him more being a standstill kind of player, but tonight I've seen him look to penetrate. They've tried to play screen roll with him. He's isolated a couple times, so he's expanded his game, which means he's going to get to the free throw line more rather than be a stand-up shooter. And he'll help Shaquille by being able to expand that outside and take some of that pressure off inside. Shaquille, good effort, doesn't get it inside. Catlidge, he reloads it and does. 38-29, the lead now by the Magic. Well, Catlidge will be the beneficiary of a lot of offensive rebounds because 2-3 guys are going to Shaquille. So if he'll get on the corner of that board, he's going to get a lot of opportunities. Biggest lead of the game right now for the Magic.
Foul number 4 is Scott Skiles.
Scott Skiles picking up the foul. Johnny Newman will go to the free throw line.
Johnny Newman at the line.
Newman, of course, has played different areas in the NBA. He led the Hornets in scoring in the 90-91 season, coming off of what he thought was his finest year last year, averaging over 15 points a game, and doesn't get it. Now he's shooting 49%. I should check that, 91% from the free throw line. He is one of the guys that they have been able to depend on. Well, all these guys are shooting good free throws. He walks up and crawls the second one in. So Charlotte has missed about 3-4 free throws in this game. That's more than they've missed really on this season. They're 56 for 62, so they've only missed 6 in 2 ball games. Skiles backing down, gets it into Scott. Scott with that quick post-up move over Newman. Tony Bennett with a rebound. Bennett, a second-round pick. J.R. Reed trying to back down on Catledge. This is his best part of his game. Using his body, goes inside, gets the basket. Catledge wanted a traveling call. Instead, there's a foul inside. Is it on O'Neal or is it on Catledge?
Foul number 32.
It's going to be Shaquille O'Neal.
His second team
That will be the second on Shaquille.
Well, this is going to be a reaching foul. You're going to see Catledge, boom, and right there is the little reach on Shaquille. Those are the kind of fouls you do not want to pick up if you're Shaquille O'Neal. If you're going to get a foul, you want it to be a good one around the basket, not one of those little ticky-tack ones that gives an opponent a three-point play.
Second team foul against the Magic here in the second quarter. Charlotte with one. Skiles kicks it out to Scott. They got to get out on him.
That was right on the money. That would have been his third three, I think, of the game already. So
here's Reed at the other end. They want him to play with more emotion. The former Tar Heel from North Carolina. He'll post up outside. Doesn't go. Rebound O'Neal. Shaquille doing a good job on the defensive boards. That's 5 rebounds for him. Look at this finish.
Johnny Newman, I watched him, and he was watching Shaquille run down the floor, and it was almost, do I or don't I? Do I get in his way or don't I? At the last moment, he started to step over, and when he does, watch this, he gets the foul, but it's like, I don't know, well, I better get out of the way. Well, too late, dunk. But I don't know if I would get in front of Shaquille O'Neal. He's like Charles Barkley on the fast break.
Well, Newman only weighs about 200 pounds. That's not the guy to try to get in front of Shaquille. Chance for a three-point play now for Shaquille. Well, they didn't look as good as those 2 previous free throws. 40-33. The biggest lead they've had is 9. Now up to 7. Curry is a guy who will put it up in a hurry. Bennett tries to track it down, and it'll be off of Bennett. Orlando's basketball, 9:47. We're going to have a doubleheader here on TNT coming up on Friday night. The Knicks against the Lakers. The Clippers lost to the Lakers in the Sports Arena earlier this year in overtime. And it goes to Shaquille. Shaquille backing down on Reed. He got a piece of it. Good defensive effort by Reed out to Bennett. And we're going to have a foul on Skiles, who jumped in front of him. That is his second personal foul. And Skiles doesn't agree. He feels that there was a foul previous to that. Bennett had a real collision that time.
See if Matty Gukas goes to Chris Corciani here in a moment. Scott Skiles played the entire first quarter, and he's played about 3 minutes in this quarter. He might be starting to get a little tired. He's played 15 consecutive minutes in a very fast-paced game.
Curry driving inside. We're going to have a holding foul as he tries to duck in. See, go on Anthony Bowie, who
one of
just
the things that Alan
game.
Bristow can do is he has his team that can score points. So right now he actually has Kendall Gill and Larry Johnson, his 2 best scorers, sitting down on the floor because he can bring in Del Curry as a scorer. He's got Johnny Newman on the floor, so he can really still score.
Rejected by O'Neal. Curry tried to duck inside, couldn't pull it off. Bennett outside to Newman. Newman over Dennis Scott. Rebound by Catledge.
That was a forced shot by Johnny Newman. He's better at getting his feet together and spotting up.
Catledge moving inside. He'll kick it back out to Bowie, the former Oklahoma standout. And inside,
they're going to call a foul on Terry Catledge. One of the points of emphasis is cleaning up low post play, and they said that Terry Catledge used his body and backed in to get the advantage, so the foul was called against Terry Catledge.
That's a surprising call.
Well, that's one of the things you're going to watch, Gary. They talked about in preseason. The fouls were up, and they said we're not going to allow all the body slamming that's going on in the post.
That's the first foul on Terry Catledge. Here's Bennett from outside. He's missed one earlier. Shaquille is there. Good outlet pass now to Skiles. Skiles on the break. Behind the back. And Catledge is fouled. He is a highlight film when he starts distributing the basketball. Remember, he had 30 assists in one game, which is an NBA record. He being Scott Skiles.
Scotty does a nice job. Once he gets inside the defense, now Gaddison has to help. No rotation. Slow getting to the weak side was J.R. Reed, and it was too late. The foul was committed. Terry Catledge at the line. That's why it's so important to keep guys out of the middle of your defense. Gary, you got to funnel people outside. When you get in there, you're either going to get foul problems, someone's going to score, you're going to get both. That's the greatness of these NBA players, being able to get into the lane and make things happen.
Reed is the guy that committed the foul. His second is Bennett now will come out of the ball game. Muggsy Bogues has checked in. Johnson is in. Newman, J.R. Reed.
Correction on the previous Charlotte foul. It's against number 44, Kenny Gaddison.
Now they're saying it's Kenny Gaddison that was the guilty party as they corrected, and Catledge will be at the line with his second free throw.
Well, now that puts Alan Bristow in a quandary. Do you stay with Kenny Gaddison with 3 fouls? You still have almost 8.5 minutes to go here in the first half. Or do you sub for him, maybe bring in Mike Jaminski, or what do you do? You're short with big people, and now your starting center's got 3 fouls.
Johnson posting up inside on Nick Anderson, and Anderson is 6'6", can't stay with Larry Johnson on that kind of a low post move.
You have to watch this matchup. Nick Anderson and Larry Johnson. See, they've gone with Larry Johnson as a small forward. I actually like their lineup better right now. It's their best rebounding lineup and their best power lineup.
Shaquille waltzing inside, got away with it. I thought he might have traveled away when in the middle, but he got away with it, the basket and the foul.
Shaquille doing a little talking with Larry Johnson, too. Both those guys going back and forth at each other a little bit. Look at this. This is your 7'1", 303-pound center, putting the ball on the floor, getting the foul, getting the continuation, and finishing it off with the opportunity now to seal up a 3-point play.
Well, that's Reed's second foul that earlier had been switched over to Gaddison. And now Mike Jaminski, the guy you were just talking about that they may have to come in with, does come in as Gaddison will lead.
Now, it's going to be interesting. Does Mike Jaminski play Shaquille O'Neal, or do they put J.R. Reed on Shaquille and maybe put Mike Jaminski on Catledge? I just do not think that Mike Jaminski has the mobility to stay with O'Neal, and when they've taken away the little 2 hands and knee in the back, Mike Jaminski's game as a lot has been taken away at this point in his career.
Right, he played only 35 games last year because of a herniated disc. O'Neal has 18 points, and we have a loose ball foul. Anthony Bowie was the guy over the back.
Number 14, Anthony Bowie.
Shaquille O'Neal is doing some things in this game I didn't see on some tapes earlier, taking the ball to the hole the way he is.
I think every night is going to be a new night for him. He's going to do something different every night. That's why he's going to be so exciting, because his game is going to grow. I mean, right now, as good as he is, he hasn't even scratched the surface because he doesn't have the experience to know what he can do night in and night out against different players, because different opponents pose different problems, and you find out, well, tonight this is what I can do. Tomorrow night I'm going to have to do something different. I'll adjust, and you can see that the greatness is written all over him.
Oh boy, is it ever! And what an attitude he has.
I hope he keeps that, Gary. I hope he keeps that. I hope he can keeps that freshness. This is a game that I love to play because this is a long season. You're going to talk about 90-plus games in the playoffs, and you just hope that with all the fanfare and everything that he can keep that love for the game that he has. That's the greatness of the Birds and the Magics and the Michael Jordans. They just love to play.
I would bet on him what I know of him right now. Outside is Anderson, rebound J.R. Reed. Reed has been very effective in this game thus far. And he'll finish this one off where he thought he was going to, and O'Neal rides him out of there.
Now the rule is, after the shot is blocked, all contact is off then. So Shaquille blocks him and then gets a 3-point takedown and near pin. JR says, I got an easy layup. Shaquille says, Now here's the takedown, reversal, and near pin.
Jaminski from outside. It'll go over the back. It'll be the Magic's basketball. That is going to teach everybody watching that. You better finish because O'Neal's somewhere nearby.
Yeah, don't finger roll with Shaquille O'Neal in the game. You better go strong to the basket.
Well, I tell you, J.R. Reed will remember that one.
You got to go back into Shaquille right now. He's got Mike Jaminski. Throw the ball into the post to him. Let him work.
Nice move by Anderson. It's what he does best, is create off the dribble, and he is fouled as he ducks inside. He really can make things happen off the dribble.
Well, he's their best creator, and he gives them a guy that really is their go-to guy at this point in time. He had a great first game with 42 points, made big baskets against both Washington and Miami in the home opener. But he creates. The big thing with Nick Anderson is he's got to get to be a better free throw shooter. This guy's going to shoot a lot of free throws. He shot 20 free throws in the first 2 ball games. So that means he's shooting 10 free throws a game. So he's got to step up there and learn to be a 70% free throw shooter.
There in the penalty is Anderson will get another free throw. That foul going on Larry Johnson, his first. Nick Anderson, of course, on that Final Four team that had Kendall Gill under Lou Henson. 2 of them very good friends, work with each other in the off-season, former roommates.
You see Shaquille and Larry Johnson talking to each other and smiling and all. That's the great thing. Young guys have a great time just talking back and forth with each other. Larry Johnson says, I'm bringing it to you next time, big fella. Shaquille says, bring it on.
I tell you what, that's what's great about this, to see those 2 guys smiling and having such a good time playing this game. Muggsy Bogues from outside. Juminski tries to follow tip. Ripped down by Reed, and Reed again doing a good job. That's his 4th rebound of the night.
Well, Kendall Gill's been sitting down a long time here in this quarter. We'll go back inside to Larry Johnson. Shaquille's illegal on the defense.
There's the illegal defense.
See, he doesn't know the rule yet right now. I'm sure he's been taught. But he thought he had 3 seconds. The minute you cross the midpoint from weak side to strong side, on the weak side of the floor at this point in time, you see him the minute he crosses across the midpoint of the floor right there. That's an illegal defense because he's gone from weak side to strong side without Larry Johnson having the ball.
It's one of the few mistakes he's made. In 13 minutes, he has scored 18 points, 6 rebounds, and blocked 2 shots. Shaquille O'Neal living up to the billing as the top draft pick this year. Larry Johnson turnaround move, gets a roll.
Larry Johnson.
46-39, 6:44 to go in this second quarter. Skiles and Bogues still going after each other. Anthony Boyd brings it into Shaquille, backing out on Juminski, a little drop step. Tries to follow his own shot. He's just like a warrior in there. It'll be off of Shaquille.
Shaquille, one thing he's going to have to learn to do is play at a little bit slower tempo inside. When he catches the ball, he's operating at a little bit quicker speed than he needs to. With that size and strength, he can take his time. He's pushing his shot in there rather than shooting it.
He's in fast forward, but you might expect that. Only his 3rd regular season game, and there is the second call on an illegal defense. So they'll have the technical coming up.
Terry Catledge was trying to say the ball fake is what I reacted to. If there was a ball fake, you're allowed to react to it as long as you try to come back immediately. They said there was not a ball fake, so Terry Catledge caught with the illegal defense. That's the second one. It's a technical, 1 free throw, and setting of the shot clock to 24, sideline out of bounds to Charlotte.
And Matt Gukas was saying the very thing you were saying. It was a ball fake. He's holding his hands up, trying to demonstrate that. Muggsy Bogues will hit the technical.
You know, quietly, Charlotte is only down 6 points in this game. With all the energy and all the greatness, I mean, Shaquille has 18 points and 6 rebounds, a couple blocked shots in this game. The fans are excited about his play, but if they score here, it's a 2-field-goal game right now. So
your point is a good one. Kendall Gill hasn't been much of this attack as far as Charlotte is concerned. They get it into Johnson. He is so strong, he can post up, set up anywhere he wants to, but a good reach in this time. We're going to have a hell ball. Good effort by Terry Catledge.
We'll see what they've done in this quarter. Johnny Newman and Del Curry actually have played big guard. Kendall Gill has not played, and they've gone with the point guard and either Johnny Newman or Del Curry. They've got Larry Johnson at the small forward with J.R. Reed and now Mike Juminski. So this has been a good lineup right now for the Charlotte Hornets. I like Larry Johnson as a small forward with a bigger rebounder in the game.
And the tip, he goes up and gets it off to Bogues.
Let's go right back into Larry Johnson. Terry Catledge can't handle him. Johnny Newman's got to get out of there.
Juminski is very good at the high post. Good passer. He can shoot it very well from there. Reed backing in, out to Juminski. This is his kind of shot. He's shot that for so many years. They keep it alive. Muggsy Bogues then puts it up and in. Good job on the offensive boards, keeping that ball alive.
See, that's why I like a big lineup in there. You've got Johnson, you've got J.R. Reed, you've got Mike Juminski, Johnny Newman. You can keep the ball alive, give yourself a chance for some second and third shots. So if the first one doesn't go, you can make the opponent pay with the second and third effort.
So they cut it to 4 now. 5 straight points by the Hornets. Scott Skiles, he doesn't get the roll. Shaquille is there. And Juminski was just helpless. There was nothing he could do.
And the coach is saying, please someone block him out.
And Newman gets blocked by Shaquille. And Shaquille committing the foul. And he's in foul difficulty now. That's his 3rd.
Foul number 32, Shaquille O'Neal.
At the conclusion of tonight's game, Doug and I will be selecting the Budweiser Player of the Game. And I think Shaquille right now has got the first step towards that award. But he's going to have to sit down now after his 3rd foul. Greg Kite will come in and replace him. And that's something that experience will change. He will avoid some of those fouls.
See what he did on that last possession, Gary. He committed himself into the air before Johnny Newman had jumped. So Johnny Newman jumped into his chest and forced the contact. Johnny Newman uncomfortable on the free throw line tonight.
Yeah, he really is. He looks like he just doesn't know what he wants to do. Kite will come in.
But Gary, to finish the thought about shot blocking, great shot blockers don't jump until the guy releases the ball. Then they go up and get it, because in the NBA, these guys are so good, they get you off their feet, they'll lean in and create contact, as we see Johnny Newman miss them both.
You know, Bill Russell said he used to block a lot of shots on the way up.
Exactly. And your quick reactors, your quick leapers, when that ball is released, they go up and get it, and they wait for it to be out of the guy's hand so that they stay out of foul trouble.
Charlotte's only 4 of 8 from the free throw line, as we talked about Newman struggling in particular. 48-42, shot from the far side by Anderson. Here comes Johnson, gets it off to Muggsy. Muggsy back to Larry Johnson. Good body control to Jaminsky. That was a tough pull-up that time by Johnson.
Looked like he was going to charge over someone, and all of a sudden he gathered his momentum, was able to find Mike Jaminsky, who ran the floor nicely.
Cut it back to 4. The biggest lead of the game, 9 by Orlando, and there's a good effort by Kendall Gill, who's just checked back into the ball game, going for the steal. Dale Curry now will come in, and Newman will lead.
It'll be interesting now as we watch Orlando. Without Shaquille, who are they going to go to scoring? Catledge inside, but Nick Anderson now is the guy that's going to have to pick up the scoring in this last 4.5 minutes. He's been rather quiet on the offensive end. He's going to have to go to work against Kendall Gill.
3 by Skiles. That's one way of picking it up. Matt Skiles now with 8 points for the night. 51-44, Orlando. Johnson, he can face the basket as well, as he shows you there. He can do it all.
Look at the guy's body. He's not supposed to be able to shoot like that. The arms and shoulders, I mean, you expect him to post and do the things he can do, but step out and shoot the ball with that kind of touch.
He's hit his last 5 shots as we have a foul inside. Catledge, who's not feeling all that good anyway, took it inside, and Johnson got a piece of it.
With the referees calling the post play a little closer, they're not allowing you to root, push, and shove in there on the block. So guys are catching the ball cleaner this year. I think it's going to force more double teaming, because when you don't double team, this is what happens. The guy gets good position, he takes a dribble, he leans in, and now he gets to the free throw line. I think you're going to see quicker double teams this year as the season goes on, which is going to put a premium on better passing and better outside shooting, especially three-point shooting.
And the nice thing about this Orlando team, they have the guys that can shoot outside if they do start dumping inside on you. 51-46.
Free throws.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be free.
Yeah, well, you used to feel that way. There's a lot of guys who wouldn't agree with you. As Magic coming in here shooting 60% as the team.
Now see, no double team.
Yeah, and he's in too low. He got the ball inside too low, but they don't get the ball to drop. You just can't let him get it that low.
He faded away. He really took the easy shot out, Larry Johnson did that time, because he had very good position. He faded away and took a tougher shot than I think he really had to take.
Baseline to Catledge. Catledge really working hard. Nice positioning inside.
Well, Larry Johnson's going to have to dig in and respect Terry Catledge. Terry Catledge is a proven low post scorer in this league.
7 points in the game for Catledge. Johnson tries to come up with the offensive board. A breakaway to Skiles. He can't control it. Charlotte will have it with 3:14 to go in the second quarter. Boy, he'll really come after you aggressively on defense. Out on Curry. Doesn't let him have that shooting range he'd like to get. As Curry has no conscience, as they say, with a good outside shooter. Kendall Gill is really struggling.
He's flat.
Yeah.
He's flat on his shot, and he's quick on his release. So Kendall is out of rhythm right now, but when you get in there and get an easy score, again, he's got a couple field goals tonight in the game. One of them a driving layup and the other one a putback. He's 2 for 6 in the game, so he's missed all 4 outside jump shots.
That was 1 of 5 before he got that putback. Here's Skiles sliding. They're going to call traveling on that.
Scotty Skiles has had difficulty on the screen roll this year. He's had some turnovers. He's going to have to be under a little more control when he comes off that pick.
Hornets call a timeout.
Matty Gukas, he sat all the players down and he told the players their role. And he said, my role is to rebound mainly, block shots, change shots, and, just play hard. And that's what I'm going to do.
Well, he's playing hard, and in his numbers, you can see in 14 minutes, 20 points, 7 rebounds, 2 blocks. He set down for 450 of the first quarter. Now, with a 2:38 left in the first half, he takes another breather. The second quarter, Charlotte's only shooting 31% from the field. Curry to Gaminsky.
Oh, nice pass.
Yep.
And in a better defensive play, the ball was knocked off Mike Jaminsky's leg, but a great pass by Del Curry, finding Mike Jaminsky, and then a reach in with quick hands, the ball off Jaminsky. Magic get another opportunity here to try to push their lead back to 7.
Only the Hornets' 5th turnover of the night thus far. Anderson floats it inside to Catledge, and he traveled. He tried to spin move on Johnson, and Johnson, an immovable object on that particular occasion.
You know what happened? He was expecting contact, and when he didn't get it, he just walked. Normally, you move in there, and you feel the contact, and you roll off of it. Terry Catledge started to go. There was no one there. Larry Johnson had moved, forced him to shuffle his feet.
J.R. Reed now into the ball game. Kaminsky will come out.
Kendall Gill needs to hit an open jump shot here, get himself on track.
Well, that's what he needed right there. He's now 3 of 7 for the night.
There's a steal.
Yeah, the steal is J.R. Reed's playing as hard, I think, as I've seen him play in a while, as Curry then hits a 3.
There's a quick 5 points, so now you've got a tie ball game.
Just like that, it's even at 53.
See, we talked Magic, though. Turn the ball over. They've turned it over 22 and a half times the ball game this year. A lot on careless plays.
They double team in the backcourt on Bowie, and Skiles recognizing that, gets out and gives some help.
Nick Anderson not comfortable shooting the jumper, wanted to take it inside, and there's another turnover.
All of a sudden, Charlotte making a move. That's 11 turnovers now against the Magic. J.R. Reed passes up a shot. Kendall Gill, and that shows you how the lack of confidence affecting his game. Here's Anderson, and he's stripped to the ball, and we're going to have a foul.
Kendall Gill had the worst shot in basketball you can have, the 5-footer to where you try to guide it rather than you shoot it, and he just sort of flipped it up there. That's the toughest shot in basketball. You can't use the backboard. You're on the side. Let's watch this, and I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Anderson at the line, shooting 2.
Well, and when you're not playing with confidence, Doug, it doesn't make it any easier to hit the toughest shot in basketball, right? So Anderson will go to the line. That foul was on Muggsy Bogues, his second. Both teams are in the penalty. As we have a minute 16 left here in this first half. Brian Williams will come in for the second time, and Catledge will leave. They got some meaningful minutes from Williams when he was in there the first time.
Well, he's going to be active. You know, he's not going to play long stretches right now because he's not in great shape. But if he can give you 4 or 5 minute stretches, maybe 3-4 times during the course of the game, he can come in and he can help you.
Anderson now with 7 points. Folks at 5-3 almost disappears. All he had was 37 points and 21 rebounds.
12 of them on the offensive boards, I think 8 assists. So looks like he likes his new home out there at America West Arena in Phoenix.
Yeah, and Portland, the team that a lot of people think will be the one that would keep them from winning the West, so we'll get an early indication of how those two teams are going.
How about Charlotte? 90% on the season. They're now 13 for 20, shooting 65% in this game. They'd have the lead if they were shooting free throws like they've been shooting them to start this season.
Instead, they trail by 1 as we go to the last minute of this first half. Anthony Bowie from outside. He was a teammate of Wayman Tisdale's at Oklahoma. As he gets 2, 57-54.
After well-executed play, screen roll, and Anthony Bowie come off the double on the weak side.
Baseline, Gill rejected by Brian Williams and stolen then by Bowie. Bowie 1-on-2, getting back as Newman. And he tried to get into Williams, deflected, and J.R. Reed's got it. 34 seconds left in the half. Baseline, Gill, good ball movement. Curry can't get it. Rebound inside by Anderson.
This game's getting a little ragged here, Coach Bender.
Yep.
Turnovers, some quick shots, not getting good looks at the basket.
The skip pass on the far side to Skiles. He looks up. He has 13 seconds on the shot clock, and he'll hit a 3.
You got to cover him. That's one of the better three-point shooters, although he was 0 for 3 going into the season. That's 2 for 3 from the three-point line tonight.
Orlando has 4, Charlotte with 1. There's Reed with an awkward shot, but he got the roll. Bodies flying everywhere, but no foul on the play.
Well, I guess they gave it to Johnny Newman on the tip-in.
Struggling.
So they're 6 for 19, and you're down 4. You have to think we're in pretty good shape, especially if they can get the 4th foul on Shaquille O'Neal early in this quarter.
So the Magic led by 7 after the first quarter, 4 at half. It was tied at 53 before they made that little run. Here's Shaquille wheeling inside, and he's got 22 points.
How about quick feet for the big guy? Spinning right off the contact of Kenny Gaddison. Remember, Kenny Gaddison got 3 quick fouls and had to sit down.
Both teams opening with the same 5 that began the game. 11:28 to go as we begin the second half. Kendall Gill now is 3 of 10 from the field.
Well, as a young player, he can't allow this to affect the other phases of his game. He's got to continue to take the good shot. He's too good to continue to miss those kind of easy shots.
He started the year out very well. He had 18 points, but then all of a sudden 5 of 16 the last game, and here tonight 3 of 10. Shaquille turned around, and Gaddison, not much you can do.
He did everything right. He made him fade away and shoot the shot, but Shaquille now with 24 points in the game, having his own way inside. Now Gaddison made some outside shots in this area to start the game.
Shaquille's got to be careful. He has 3 fouls. Anderson tried to follow, and then is rejected by Shaquille O'Neal. That's his 3rd block of the night.
You see Larry Johnson went to Kenny Gaddison. He said, look, you had a 10-foot shot. take that shot rather than drive in and corkscrew a shot in here where Shaquille's going to change it. That's why opponents shoot 45%. There was one change and one block in that possession.
Significant thing there is the second-year player Johnson, the team leader. Kendall Gill finally hits one. So that may get him going, and they need Kendall Gill, who is an emerging star, but really struggling with his shooting thus far. 64-58, the Magic.
Dennis Scott's going to get a three-point shot here if he'll spot up, because they're going to have to come on the double team.
That's the same place O'Neal shot earlier. Turner tries to follow with a tip. Larry Johnson gets it off to Muggsy Bogues. Bogues creating, kicks it out to Gill, and Gill trying to hit his second in a row, and he's done that.
It's important. He got his feet underneath him. He coaxed that one in. It looked like he tried to guide it. Barely got off the front rim, but that's two quick jump shots now after missing an easy shot and getting one block.
And they cut it to 4. Skiles with Bugs.
There's the three I was talking about. He was chased off of it.
Muggsy Bogues staying on him, and Skiles able to duck inside. Gaddis and O'Neal both had a piece of the ball. Whose is it?
Magic ball.
It'll be Orlando's basketball. Two big, strong guys squeezing the ball on that play. Scott will inbounds. 9:52 to go, third quarter.
See, Kenny Gaddison's a big guy. You look at him, you can't see him behind Shaquille. Shaquille just blocks him out.
Turner hit a couple in the first half. Gets another one outside. He has 6 points. Turner really gives him some stabilizing force. And there's a charge on Bogues. Out of control. Commits a foul. That's his third foul. Orlando will inbounds. Bogues is one of those guys who doesn't get caught like that very often. He's so small, he just finds a little crevice, a little gap, and can stay alive. But that time, he couldn't avoid the foul.
He just got a little bit out of control. He thought he had a little crack there, and Skiles did a nice job of reacting to the opening.
Look at Bogues. When he plays defense, he's looking in the kneecaps, isn't he?
But see, Skiles is doing a good job. He's not putting the ball in front of him. He's using his body to shield him. He's keeping him on his side away from the ball so that he cannot pressure him and create turnovers. That's a nice job by Skiles to shield with his body. 9
points now for Dennis Scott. Back to an 8-point lead. Skiles has 6 assists in this ball game. Just a moment ago, getting his 6th. Here's Newman. Nice change of direction. And he got by Shaquille and got it to go. Nice, quick, slashing move by Newman.
But Dennis Scott cannot handle Johnny Newman's quickness. What he has to hope is that Shaquille will be able to plug that middle once he beats him on the drive.
Skiles to the cutting. Scott partially blocked, but a foul.
Foul number 2, Larry Johnson.
Larry Johnson is the guilty party. Both he and Newman went up against him. Correction, now they're going to say it's Newman, so it'll be Newman's second foul. And Scott will go to the line. They'd rather have it on Newman than Johnson. That would have been his third personal foul. Dennis Scott, with that mysterious leg ailment a year ago, had off-season surgery both on that band on his leg, as they talk about it, also arthroscopic surgery. They were concerned about his conditioning.
Well, it was called the iliotibial band friction syndrome. Is what it was called. It was a rubbing around the kneecap, and it was irritating. And they went in there twice, and hopefully that it is taken care of now.
I didn't know anybody from Benton, Illinois could say that.
I can read real well.
Shot missing by Larry Johnson. Kendall Gill brings it out to Muggsy.
It's another wide open shot for Gill.
That's three. Yep.
And I like Muggsy because he gave it to the scorer. He had the open shot, and he gave it to Kendall Gill. That's a sign of your point guard getting it to the guys that are going to be your scorers on the season. 3 straight field goals now for Kendall Gill. Scott trying to take Newman inside. Celine, a tough shot, and that's going to be a push-off by Dennis Scott, as you called it. Scott pushing away, commits his second foul. Get that left arm out when you try to shoot the basketball. They're going to call you every time in the NBA. You're not going to get a chance to free yourself. That's a good call by Kenny Maurer. Hey, Charlotte kind of settling in right now. Well, they've quietly stayed right in this ball game. I mean, it's a 6-point game right now, and they've stayed right there. The Magic seems like get lulled in little areas here of indecision. Shaquille was tripped. He falls, goes over the end line. I think he's going to be all right, but when he falls down, you can hear it all the way across the floor. Well, someone better stay back. If they get the rebound, they're going to throw to Shaquille down at the other end of the floor all alone. So when he falls down, your big guy's got to stay down there with him rather than to try to run down the floor. Boy, it takes a while for him to get up when he falls down. That was in sections as he tried to right himself, and the play, of course, went to the other end of the floor.
72-64 the count. Here's Shaquille, and seems to be all right as he now has 26 points for the night.
Back up to a 10-point lead, so as Charlotte tries to make their move, Magic has answered all night.
That's the biggest lead of the game now. Kendall Gill missing there. Johnson forcing the board. Larry Johnson's so strong, been a great player at every level. National High School Player of the Year, Junior College Player of the Year, and the four-year school Player of the Year. As Bogues hits from outside, he's been taking quite a few shots.
I think the one thing about Larry Johnson, and not only has he been a great player, but his teams have been great winners at every level too. And I think that says a lot about what he brings to a team. It's one thing to bring stats, it's another thing to bring winning moments, and he's done that.
That was a nice spin move. They say that he doesn't have an ultimate weapon, Shaquille O'Neal, that he may need to go something all the time to be his signature. But he's 12 of 19 from the field tonight.
Well, he's just, overmatching, as we talked about, Kenny Gaddison. He's working very hard, but he's getting position. He's right underneath the basket again in the lane. I think Charlotte's going to have to make a commitment as soon as he catches the ball to go double team him. See, they're not double teaming him.
Yeah, Gaddison just getting eaten alive, and Gaddison, that's kind of a frustration foul there. As he commits his fourth, J.R. Reed will be coming into the ball game as Orlando asks for a timeout. 6:33 to go, so that 4-point halftime lead has been bumped up to 10. Shaquille O'Neal leading the way.
4 of his last 5 shots after struggling out of the gate, 3 for 12.
Nice looking stroke that time, so he may be back on track.
Let's see if they come down and double team him on catch. See if this timeout they made an adjustment. He's off the block now.
And Reed is now picking him up. Collapsing a little bit was Newman. They'll try to get it back in. Nope, here's a 3 by Scott. And a rebound by Johnson, and it was tipped away. And it'll be Charlotte's basketball.
Gary, I'll tell you one of the reasons why you're afraid to double team Shaquille is because Alan Bristol looks at the stat sheet and he sees at halftime the Magic are 4 for 5 from the three-point line. He said, I don't want to let these other guys not get started by shooting threes. So now they're not double teaming Shaquille. That's the importance of the three-point shot.
Got a foul on Scott Skiles, reaching in on Bogues. Muggsy really shooting a lot outside. Let's take a look now at the GMC Truck scoreboard. A lot of activity. The Knicks unbeaten going into that game tonight. Miami Heat, who made the playoffs last year. Look at Cleveland.
Well, Cleveland, after the tough loss to Chicago, has had 2 gigantic wins. Minnesota playing well, although Dallas is probably going to be the worst team in the NBA this year, maybe threatening the 06er record of 9-73.
And Dunleavy is 2-0 going into that. And Tarkanian still looking for his first win in the NBA. Denver with a lead over Utah.
That's a little bit of a surprise. Denver, you wouldn't consider them one of your better teams in the West. They are tough in Denver, but Utah lost at home to Golden State. Golden State went in there, had a big road win to start the season. I thought Utah was one of the best teams I saw in the preseason.
Denver, 2 #1 draft picks this year. 77-70. The count now, the Magic. Here's Muggsy again, just on top of Skiles, who drives around. Beautiful pass to O'Neal. A bullet pass, and he's fouled. J.R. Reed fouled him, but what an assist from Scott Skiles.
When you attack a guy on the screen roll, you can't let him split you. And Larry Johnson comes up hard, and he lets the split. When you split, now what does it do? It compromises your defense. J.R. Reed has to give help, and when he does, you leave Shaquille O'Neal for the dunk. This is what our slam cam feels like with Shaquille coming to the basket.
Well, what's impressive is how good a catch that was, too, by O'Neal. Shows his hands.
Well, he does have great hands. There's no question. He can catch those kind of passes.
He's hit his last 7 shots, O'Neal has, from the field. 79-70 the count, and a turnaround by J.R. Reed.
The little medium-range jump shooter right now is going to be bothering Shaquille. He's not going to be able to get out on the floor and cover, so J.R. can step out there. Kenny Gaddison, Mike Jaminski, they can pull him away and make the little medium-range shot.
Turner from outside, showing his range. Boy, he'll help this ball club. Keep him from collapsing inside on Shaquille, that kind of shooting.
The Magic are getting very good shots. That's one of the reasons they're shooting so well.
O'Neal with yet another rebound. Turner for the night is 5 of 7 from the field. That's 8 rebounds now for Shaquille. 81-72.
Going to go right back to the screen roll. Let's see if they cover it. Turner's going to look to probably try to drop the ball into Shaquille here.
Inside to Shaquille. J.R. Reed's got his hands full and does a good job reaching in and getting the ball deflected away.
Twice J.R. has done that. When Shaquille has brought the ball down, he's knocked it loose.
Kendall Gill out to Muggsy Bogues again. Rebound Turner. Skiles on the breakaway to Anderson. Changes shot. Couldn't get it to go. Boy, he's exciting in the open court. Back it comes to Bogues. Newman at the other end. And we're going to have a foul as well on Turner. A blocking foul. The basket going and a chance now for the free throw coming up.
The fans don't like that, but Jeff Turner was underneath the basket. His head was underneath the rim. In that situation, it's either going to be a no call or a blocking foul. You must be in a position to defend the shot. And when you stop and you see it right there, he's underneath the basket. That's a good call. Feet were moving, head underneath the basket. Either a no call or a block. You will never get the charge in that instance.
Third foul on Turner. Three-point play now for Charlotte. 81-75. About time you think you're putting them away. You got a 10, 12-point lead. They come fighting back in this thing.
Well, remember, Charlotte can score. That's one thing they can do. And if they can gear their defense, they can get themselves back in this game.
They do score in bunches, don't they?
Yes, they do. And you know what? They can take Kendall Gill and Larry Johnson out and come in with Del Curry, and they can still score points. So this is a team that when their defense gets together and they become a better rebounding team, take a little bit better care of the basketball, they're going to win some games and they're going to beat some good teams, especially when you get them down on their home court.
And Alonzo Mourning. I keep bringing that name up.
Exactly. I mean, he's a major part, but he's not here. So,
that's right.
They've got to go on and play without him until he decides that the contract is good enough where he can sign it and get in and start playing basketball.
Alan Bristol said the team's attitude is really good about it. They have not talked that much about it, not that much of a distraction. Now we have the 24-second clock expiring.
Another turnover.
Yep. And that will be the 15th turnover now against the Magic. That's the one little flaw in their game tonight. As you can see, 7 by Charlotte, 15 by the Magic.
Well, it's what's keeping Charlotte alive because they're getting opportunities when the Magic turn the ball over to get out and get some easy scores.
Anthony Bowie has come to the ball game. He's picking up Kendall Gill. Bowie at 6'6" with those long arms. Curry from outside. Shaquille had inside position all the way on J.R. Reed. 9 rebounds.
Del Curry now 3 for 11.
He's one of those guys, though, that all of a sudden he gets in a streak and he can hurt you. Inside O'Neal on a fine feed to the post from Jeff Turner.
You can't guard that. There's no one in the league can guard that. You throw it up, he goes and gets it, and then he just finishes. That's a nice pass.
Every point he's scoring now is a career high for him in his young career. 33 for the night. Reed from the corner.
He's going to have that shot. Shaquille's not going to go play him out there, so he's going to be able, if he gets his feet together, he's going to be the guy that they can go to take the shot. He's going to be away from the basket. Shaquille, maybe they can get some rebounds. 9 points for Reed to go with 6 rebounds. Nice save that time by Shaquille. He's doing everything. Scott Skiles will take Muggsy Bogues inside. Rebound by Curry. Gill is down the floor. It goes to Newman instead, and run 87. We'll be back in just a moment. And it gives him space, and all J.R. Reed can do is reach in.
You're that big, you need some space. 35 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 blocks. 3 by Kendall Gill. He's all of a sudden the old Kendall Gill.
You think shooting isn't rhythm and confidence? I mean, this is a different guy in the second half. The thing I like about it is he didn't get discouraged and stop shooting.
Well, the good ones have that confidence. The next one's always going to go, right? 22 points for Kendall Gill. Dennis Scott on the other end.
Dennis Scott.
He's got that quick release. And Scott now with a total of 13. Now we're going to have a traveling call.
Chris Corciani's a different player than Scott Skiles defensively. He can change the game. He can get up and bother Tony Bennett. That time he came in from behind him. So Tony Bennett's going to have to be very careful because Corciani is a better defender than what you think he is by looking at him.
Corciani, they feel that he's too quick to pass sometimes. They want him to think about taking the shot once in a while. He is so unselfish. Rebound by Reed.
You know, my coach never once said about that to me, I'd like to see you look to shoot more. A little too unselfish.
Baseline to Bennett. Bennett in a lot of trouble. Gets it out nicely to Curry. Curry takes advantage of it and hits the 2.
That's the most time he's had tonight. He got his feet squared and that quick release. So Del Curry now, if he warms up with Kendall Gill, we now have a 1-point game. Again, Shaquille sitting out, so we'll have to watch what the numbers do with him sitting out resting.
Curry is 5 of 13, and here's Greg Kite on a nice assist from Corciani, who drew him inside and got it out to Kite with his first basket of the night. Curry from outside, another 3 on the way, and it'll go out of bounds. It'll be the Magic's basketball with 10:28 left in this fourth quarter. 95-92, Orlando. They've led the entire way. 7 points in the first quarter, 4 at half, and 4 after 3 quarters. Then a Scott turnaround jumper, and now he's starting to get the hot hand. He has 15. Emmett, the rookie, gets it off to Johnson. Saw Corciana giving him a lot of troubles. He brought it up. J.R. Reed has been playing with confidence, especially facing the basket like that. That's been his shot. J.R. Reed having a strong performance, 13 points. 97-94. Corciani ducking inside. Little ad-lib effort to Bowie. Bowie wasn't set on that.
No block out. No block out. There's that rebounding again. You've got to clear the board. You force a tough shot. Someone's got to step out. That ball bounced. Bowie picked it up, took it to the basket.
We have some bonus coverage. The New Jersey Nets, the New York Knicks, and to set it all up, let's go to Atlanta. And here's Ernie Johnson.
Closing seconds at the Garden, New Jersey down by...
After this, we have a one-point game again. Charlotte has just continued to fight back, trailing by 1.
I don't know if Charlotte has ever led in this ball game. Larry Johnson with the isolation.
They led 11-7, I think, early in the ball game. But that's a long time ago.
J.R. Reed pulled the string on that open jump shot. Looks like Corciani a little bit out of control going to the basket.
He's been out of control the last 2 times down the floor. The other time he lost the ball when he fell down, and so the ball will go to Charlotte. Matty Gukas thought he had a foul, but it's not going to happen, and Charlotte will have the basketball.
Gary, the one thing that point guards and all players have to be concerned about, but especially smaller guards when you're playing with bigger people, is you can't get up in the air and leave your feet. You get hung, and you either have to shoot a bailout shot or you make a bad pass in traffic. You got to keep your feet on the floor unless you're going up to shoot the ball.
So Larry Johnson now setting this thing up offensively as we approach 8 minutes left here in the fourth. Johnson's going to try to take Turner inside, kicks it off to Bennett, the left-hander. That's a 3. So the rookie from Wisconsin, Green Bay, has given the Hornets the lead. And we have a timeout called now by Matt Dukas. Orlando losing the lead, trailing 101-99. 7:55 left in this game. The first road
2-point lead.
Charlotte outscored Orlando 14-8 when Shaquille was out of there. And the big guy is back into the game as Nick Anderson also has returned. And as he goes inside, he is fouled. No basket. The foul will go on J.R. Reed, or reach in on Reed. Then scoring, Charlotte with 31 points.
A lot of that J.R. Reed hitting the open shot. Del Curry's made some big baskets here late in the ball game.
Tell you, the guy's really come on, though, is Kendall Gill. He had 9 points in the first half, 22 for the game. Nick Anderson spin move inside. He'll get it, and the foul is going to go on Johnny Newman. Very fine move by Nick Anderson.
The one thing Charlotte does not have is they do not have great one-on-one defenders. And what it causes you to do, if you play guys straight up, you get caught in an isolation with Nick Anderson. If you double team, you leave three-point shooters. So they're in a quandary right now. One thing they're going to have to really work on, Gary, to elevate themselves to the elite, is they're going to have to be better individual defensive players, which will not break down team defense.
Anderson has been struggling. He's 2 of 9 from the field, but he got the three-point play there. And again, the lead for the Magic. They lead by 1, 102-101.
Now, Del Curry's a great three-point shooter, as is Bennett. He finds him.
He doesn't get this one. Rebound is cleared by Anderson. Charlotte is back, and so they'll pull it out.
They got to go inside to Shaquille O'Neal right now against J.R. Reed. He's got to catch the basketball. Corciani getting a lot of playing time. Skiles getting a breather. Turner again from the corner. He has been very quietly scoring 14 points in this game. All open shots. He only forced one shot the entire game when he started to try to make a move on his own. Everything else has been spot-up open shots. Del Curry turnaround jumper. Shaquille with yet another rebound. That's his 11th. You know, he got those 3 fouls the first half, and he stayed out of foul trouble since then. Charlotte needs a timeout after this possession. Magic on a little bit of a run. They need to stop him right now. Anderson forcing it inside, and we're going to have a foul as he tried to duck in. The foul going against Charlotte. When you're on the road and you get a young team and they start making a run at you, you got to make sure you stop it and don't let them get too much out of control. They've gone from 2 down now. Magic has gone to 3 up with an opportunity for 2 free throws, although Nick Anderson is not a very good free throw shooter, shooting 50% on the season. So this is where free throws will come into play. It's a close game.
Yep.
We talked about the free throw shooting.
That foul was on Larry Johnson. It was his third, so Anderson gets the first.
Well, Gary, if I told you Larry Johnson was scoreless this half, would you think we had a 4-point game at this point?
Boy, that is amazing. He's handled the ball, but he just has not gotten any points. As now Gaddison, who's been down for a long time, will come back in. He got into foul difficulty. He had his 4th, so he was taken out. Now on the stretch run with 6:36 left in the game. Well, there's 2 important free throws.
Well, they always say you keep 2 statistics. Those for in the first few minutes of the ball game, and those when the game is on the line. Maybe Nick Anderson is a guy that makes big free throws.
The cutter inside is Kendall Gill. Orlando now has scored 7 straight points after losing that lead. Here's Kendall Gill, partially blocked that time by Bowie. Newman reloads it. Rebound by Shaquille. 12 for the night.
I still think that Charlotte needs a timeout.
Look at this little move. Did you see that little stutter move there?
Well, now he's now creating on the break for Jeff Turner to shoot open shots.
Offensive foul on number 32.
Well, that's a foul on Shaquille as he got a little out of control, getting maybe a little too cute there, and he picks up his 4th foul.
Gary, what he did, he penetrated and he pitched, and when he did, he went in and bashed in to Gaddison to try to get good position, and they called him for the foul.
You can see how he loves to play, though. That little stutter move as he went inside. Now we have a foul underneath the baskets and pushing and shoving against Orlando. It's going to be Turner who is reaching in and committing the foul. That is his 4th foul, and as we just mentioned, that's a 7-0 run after they lost the lead.
Get the ball to Larry Johnson. Maybe he'll create a shot out of a double team for Kendall Gill or Newman, but you got to get the ball in his hands against Jeff Turner.
Inside to Corciani with the steal.
Corciani
nice play.
Gary did a great job stepping inside Gaddison, who was cutting to the basket.
This is a guy that they cut last year, re-signed. He played in the Global Basketball Association and is going to help this team this year. Chris Corciani ducking inside on Bogues. Rebound is cleared by Johnson.
Don't you find it interesting that Corciani's playing the big minutes here in the 4th quarter?
Yeah.
That's what he did in Washington the other day.
And Skiles is not in there. Gaddison missing. Kendall Gill with a big offensive board. Bugsy gets it out to Gill, and Gill doesn't get up, and Newman does. A follow tip by Johnny Newman.
3 offensive rebounds.
You know, Newman has 23 points. It seems like it's awfully quiet, isn't it, those 23?
He averages almost 26 on the season. He's the guy that gets out and gets easy scores, makes some open shots, takes the ball to the basket, good free throw shooter.
Corciani in a little bit of trouble, got it to Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille can't get it to go. Corciani that time looking for the big guys. He got hung in midair. And so a 3-point lead for Orlando, and Charlotte with the basketball.
It'll be interesting to see how long Matty Dukas goes with Corciani before he comes back with Skiles, or maybe he thinks this is the best defensive player and he wants to keep him out on the floor. So Matty knows his team better than anyone else, but he did help him win the ball game the other day against Washington with a big 4th quarter.
Dennis Scott has come into the game for Bowie. Nice move by Johnson. So Johnson, after going scoreless for a long time, scoring his first points in this half, and has cut it to 1.
Larry Johnson will be the focal point of the offense. He will either get the double team and find open people, or he will be able to isolate and take the ball to the basket like he did on that possession. But he will be the guy that the offense will filter through in the last 4 minutes. Corciani a little out of control.
Yeah, he is. The last 2 times he's tried to create, and it just hasn't been there.
I think Matt Dukas in the next possession, without making it too obvious, will try to get Corciani out of the game and come back with Skiles.
Shaquille almost picked up a foul there. Out it comes to Dennis Scott. 14 fouls against Charlotte, 3 against Orlando as we go down the final 3:50 of this game, and Scott is fouled by Newman. And here comes Scott Skiles, as Doug was talking about. You wondered when he would come in, as Newman has committed his 4th foul of the night. Let's give us a breather here for a moment to tell you about the doubleheader coming up on Friday. As we'll begin it all, the Knicks against the Bullets, and then from the Forum, the Lakers and Clippers. The Lakers without Magic, and the Clippers with a new look, a big body look.
The one thing I like what Matt Dukas did, rather than making an emotional substitution and jerk Scott Skiles and get him into the game for Corciani, he quietly just brought him into the game. I think that will help Corciani's confidence.
Good point, Doug. Rebound now by Gill.
Gary, sometimes emotionally you react and you can destroy a player's confidence, especially a young one.
Inside it goes to Newman. No foul. Rebound, Muggsy Bogues. Off it comes to Gill from the corner. And Scott Skiles brings it down. 3:20 left. A 1-point
ball. And we hold it right there. What is his eyes doing right there? He's looking to see if there's a double team coming. Kendall Gill's going to work away. He sees there is no double team. He said, just what I want, one-on-one. I'll take it to the basket and I will score.
And that's his only 2 points of this half, 15 for the game. Shaquille O'Neal has not scored since he returned to the ball game. 106-105. Both teams have 3 full timeouts remaining, plus a 22nd. Kendall Gill tucking in on Anderson. Cut off at the baseline. Newman in trouble inside. We have a hell ball. Boy, collapsing in there with Skiles along with Nick Anderson to get a piece of that one.
Gary, there was 5 seconds on the shot clock, and what I'd like the rule to be changed, and the NBA doesn't want to hear this, is that there's no new shot clock if Magic gets possession of the ball, because if Nick Anderson tips it, they get a new 24, and you don't with the shot clock. So I'd like for them to keep that at 5, but the league doesn't want to hear that.
Well, you don't reward the defense, is what you're saying.
Exactly, and they said even though there's not that many jump balls, this is a jump ball in a critical situation. The difference could be 5 seconds on the clock as opposed to 24.
And Newman got the tip.
See, now you get a reset.
Yep. So they really come out of that, escape it very well, as Doug documented so well. 2:37 left now. 1-point lead for the Magic. And we're going to have a reach-in on Scott Skiles.
See, I think that when Muggsy Bogues makes that pass into the post, rather than him to spot up, you need to get him out of there and bring in a long-range shooter, so if they double team, you can swing it to the top, maybe free up a shot.
I stand corrected. It was not a foul. He kicked the ball, so they reset the 24-second shot clock. No foul.
Here's the one-on-4. 1-4, you got Muggsy Bogues, so they will leave Muggsy Bogues in the corner. That's not Tony Bennett. So Scott Skiles should be the guy to give help. They're going to force Muggsy Bogues to take that shot.
Here's Larry Johnson, a 3 on the way, and it's an air ball.
Now, they shouldn't get a new clock. That did not hit the rim.
No, it's got to hit the rim to reset it, and there's a reset out to 19 seconds. They missed that one. You've got to hit the rim, the new rule this year, to reset the clock. Well, that was an air ball in the true sense of the word.
See, Bogues is not going to make that shot. They're going to have to give him, although he did make that right there, but when the ball comes out, they're going to be the guy that double team is going to be Scott Skiles.
A 1-point lead on that 2-point shot by Bogues. 107-106, a minute 44. Skiles tough, running one-hander.
Tough shot.
And so the Magic by 1. 14 fouls against Charlotte, 2 against Orlando as we go down the stretch. Baseline Bogues reverses it.
How about it for the offensive rebound?
The littlest guy. The littlest guy on the floor in the NBA.
He misses the layup and then gets it back. Muggsy Bogues over Shaquille O'Neal.
And so the lead goes back to Charlotte. Turner into the corner. Dennis got a 3. Rebound, Nick Anderson. He got up high for that one. Skiles running in again. Kicks it out to Turner. Turner's short on the shot. Anderson again with a board. Nick Anderson, 2 big offensive boards. Baseline reverse. And
stepped on the line.
Foul.
He called him stepping on the line.
Jim Capers said he stepped on the end line.
Let's see if he steps on the line. Right there, good call by Jim Capers. He was on it. Now here I like this substitution. Del Curry is coming into the ball game. Let's see who he comes in for. He's a good outside shooter.
Look at the turnovers by Orlando. That's left the door open all night long for Charlotte.
Johnny Newman has to go out of the game because he's cut. So Curry's coming in. And what they're going to do is they're going to bring in Tony Bennett probably for Bogues in this possession to give him a better outside shooter. Let's see if that's what Alan Bristow's strategy is.
That's a blood-splattering rule that they've instituted. They got to take him out. 1 minute exactly left to go. The Hornets find, and so I thought the trainer was supposed to work with gloves. Isn't that the new rule now?
Yeah, I thought so also. Now, Muggsy Bogues stayed in the game, so they did not come back in with Tony Bennett.
2 timeouts left for Charlotte, a 20-second. Orlando a 3 and a 20-second. Fouls to give. Charlotte none. Orlando has 1 foul to give. Johnson on the move. Rebound O'Neal.
Remember, free throws. I keep coming back on free throws. If Shaquille O'Neal gets the ball around the basket, They cannot allow him to get the score. They must foul him. They must force these guys to shoot free throws.
And so Orlando uses a timeout. They have 2 left, plus the 20 seconds. And again, we'll say this, Shaquille O'Neal has not scored in this fourth quarter. Basket the difference, 7 assists, and you ready for this? 5 rebounds tonight.
Well, the big offensive rebound gave his team the lead. Scott Skiles was the double man. He was the guy that was going to be going over and helping on Larry Johnson, and when he did that, Muggsy missed the open shot, and then he got the rebound and actually shot it flat-footed over the top of the Orlando defense to put them into the lead by 1.
You can see fouls to give. Charlotte has none. You see the timeouts. So Shaquille O'Neal has been scoreless in the fourth quarter, even though he has 35 points in the game.
All right, let's look at the matchups. Now you've got Bowie and Newman, so you have quickness and quickness, although Newman is going to step over and play Dennis Scott. You have Bowie and Kendall Gill, Nick Anderson and Larry Johnson, and Shaquille O'Neal against Gaddison.
12 seconds on the shot clock. With 9, Shaquille backing in, turnaround, doesn't get it, rebound Gaddison.
Now they've got to foul twice. They've got to foul twice. There's one.
Yeah.
And now they've got to foul again. They had 1 foul to waste, so you're going to get it inbounds again. And when they throw it in, well, I guess, or is that the penalty?
First in the last 2 minutes.
That's first in the last 2 minutes, so they're going. They've got 1 more foul they're going to have to give. The referee made a mistake. He said it was a 2-shot foul, so they've got to get the ball into a good free throw shooter.
And Bogues is the guy that's going to get that opportunity as Skiles fouls him, stops the clock with 15.3 seconds left. Well, Bogues coming in here was 8 of 8 from the free throw line.
Gary, I'd like to go back to one thing I said earlier in the game about Shaquille. Shaquille right now is a little excited when he catches the ball in the post. He had Kenny Gaddison, he had good position, and instead of taking his time, he rushed the play. He never got his legs underneath him. That's going to be something he's going to learn with experience.
Bogues is 3 of 3 tonight, so he's 11 of 11 for the season. Make it 12 of 12, and he has been a big player in a 5'3" body in this game.
Now, if he makes this shot, there's still plenty of time. You don't need a three-pointer. You can take the 3 if it's there, but you can get a quick 2 and foul, maybe go for the turnover.
13 of 13 for the year. He hit them both. And we'll stay right here, 111 to 108.
But if they do, it will be a wide-open 3. I believe the ball will go inside of those, get something going early. You know, Dennis Scott's a 3-point shooter. Skiles is a 3-point shooter. Jeff Turner can shoot the 3, so they've taken Shaquille out of the ball game. They're going with a small lineup. They're probably going to try to get something going to the basket quickly. If the defense helps, take the 3. If not, get the quick 2.
Well, O'Neal out of there, so Bowie's in the game. Dennis Scott, Scott Skiles, Jeff Turner, and Nick Anderson. That's the 5 that Matty Gukas has elected to go with.
Replacing Kenny Gaddison.
Got to get it in.
Yeah, 5-second count as he gets it in now to Turner. There's a 3. That's a tough 3. It was partially blocked. I think it was touched by Charlotte. It was. It'll still be the Magic's basketball. The 11.7 left.
See, I thought Anthony Bowie had a clear path to the basket there to take the ball all the way to the hoop for a drive. I didn't get to see the whole play because we had people standing here, some players in front of us, but it looked like Bowie could have taken the ball all the way to the basket, and there would have still been 10 seconds left in the ball game.
But maybe they had drilled in his head he needed to take the 3 regardless.
Probably. But see, you see Kendall Gill catch up, but look when he hands his ball off. Kendall Gill does a great job recovering to get into the play and getting a piece of the shot.
So Orlando with the timeout. They take the 22nd with 11.7 left. Down 111 to 108.
See, Orlando's still in a situation where they have a full timeout remaining. So if they do score, they can foul and then call a timeout after the free throws and still move the ball to half court. So they still have a timeout to be able to move the ball in case they have to foul and give up the free throws.
Big inbounds play here. O'Neal hasn't come back in, almost thrown away, and it was. Turner stepped over the sideline as he tried to catch the ball. And so with now 10.5 seconds left, 20th turnover against Orlando.
Well, Muggsy's going to come get the ball. You can be guaranteed on that.
Why wouldn't they have O'Neal in on that inbounds?
Well, they were going to go for the quick lineup, I guess, Gary, where they feel like that they wanted their best 3-point shooters on the floor.
Skiles reaching in, committing the foul on Johnson with 9.5 seconds left in the game.
See, there's 11.7 seconds to go. You see the pass to Jeff Turner, and he steps on the line right there.
Henry Thompson at the line, shooting 2.
But the choice was, Matty was going with a quicker team and his best three-point shooters with the idea of getting it in, getting some dribble penetration, maybe getting some help, kicking out for the open three-point shot.
Johnson missing one that would have put this one on ice. Now, still a three-point game.
Now, the question is, if he misses this one, do you run it up, sling to the floor, and try to get a three-point shot in transition?
He got that one. That's a very large free throw. Gives him a 4-point lead. Well, this would be quite a win for Charlotte if they can
At home.
Nick Anderson trying to put a three up, and it goes over the back, and so Charlotte will have the basketball. Okay, Charlotte trailed most of this game, and then Muggsy Bogues, 4 big points down the stretch and a big rebound inside, and right now Anderson bats it out of bounds, and with 5.4 seconds left.
If Kendall Gill will take his time, he can get the ball to Muggsy. There's no way they can keep him. He's so darn quick. Oh, boy,
Larry
throw it
Johnson.
underneath the basket. No wonder Alan Bristol's getting gray hair.
And Kendall Gill will put the final exclamation point on this one.
Did they count it?
They don't have it on the scoreboard yet, do they? They must have waved it off. They waved it off. So it's 112 to 108. A victory for the Charlotte Hornets, who go to 2-1. Orlando, with their first loss of the year, they also now are 2-1. So the Hornets,
Good night.
a big confidence builder here. Getting an outstanding performance from Muggsy Bogues. They had 16 points from Johnson, 23 from Johnny Newman, and 22 from Kendall Gill. So Muggsy Bogues is going to be our guest here on the post-game show, and he's headed over here. And Doug, I want you to ask him how a 5'3" guy, Muggsy, I'll ask you, how does the smallest guy on the floor get the biggest rebound of the game?
You have to do what you have to do, and it was just a situation that it was there, and I just took advantage of it.
Muggsy, this has to be a confidence builder for you guys. First road trip, coming in here and winning this game.
What it is, we had a difficult loss in Cleveland. We let ourselves down. We felt that. We just want to come out and play a team.
Is that historically, racers from Russia and the entire Soviet Union have been among the best prepared and the strongest and the most versatile. So we may see them late in the race.
But they must also be thinking about what has happened to one of their countrymen, someone like Vyacheslav Ekimov, and how he's got a very nice contract now and is living in Europe and making big dollars and is a hero in the cycling world, and saying to themselves, this is a way out for me.
The Soviets were always famous for the intensity of their training. In fact, they would often do 3 training sessions a day. I remember many times seeing them on the rollers, stationary bicycles, at 6:30 in the morning, in full sweat, at full pedaling cadence, doing 1-hour sessions, and then going out at 9 o'clock and riding for 2.5 or 3 hours, taking a little rest in the afternoon, and then going out again at 5 o'clock. And I think that other racers looked at that program with just complete amazement. How could they possibly do that? And you're looking at some very unusual descending techniques here. Low crouches. That unified racer, he is very far forward. Look at those legs. The rest of the racers have their legs back. He's very far forward, but it seems to be working.
Tim, is the danger from the mass start behind the riders at this point, and everyone's out of harm's way?
Never, with a pack this big and so many inexperienced racers still in the field, the danger won't end until there's a significant split. And what I mean by a significant split is 25 or 30 racers getting ahead and leaving the rest behind.
As experienced cycling fans know, as we now look at our lead group of 3, that the thinner the line of riders is in the field, the faster they are riding. And when they are bunched, it means that the pace is not too quick. As the 3 out in front, Tochnig, Thies, and Pascal, try to lengthen their lead over the field seems to be content to play cat and mouse and relax behind.
These three are rolling very nicely now, taking even turns at the front of the formation, and they're in it for good. The field's rolling a little bit faster. It's a Brazilian, I believe, at the front.
Tim, and chatting with Lance Armstrong prior to the race, did he give you any inclination where he may want to make his move?
Very clear inclination, Randy. He said, look for me with 3 to go. And that means lap 10. And we certainly will be doing that. Though somehow I suspect that it'll be even before the 10th lap that we see Armstrong forward and doing something. Because as Greg said before, he's not the patient type. He's aggressive, and he likes to chart his own race and not follow others.
In the women's event, the splits between the lead groups and the field were not provided to the riders. You had mentioned, Tim, that there was a communication system that had been set up by the U.S. team. Why don't we talk about that a little bit?
Well, it was exactly because of that shortcoming and lack of information that U.S. coach Chris Carmichael decided to post 5 spotters around the course, and they're all connected by cellular telephone. Carmichael is at the start-finish, watching the race on television and orchestrating strategy. And what the U.S. team has done, almost like baseball, is created a set of signals that they will use to relay, to yell to the riders to tell them strategy. And by that I mean they've identified 6 good points for attacks on the course. And say Lance Armstrong comes by and Chris Carmichael wants him to attack on the big climb midway through the course. Carmichael will yell, attack on number 2, and Armstrong will know that number 2 means the big climb, the 250-foot climb on the middle of the course. It would be too difficult, I think, to say, Lance, attack on the big hill at the middle of the course, because by the time you spat that out, Armstrong would be long gone. I think it's an interesting strategy. I think it's good planning, it's good communication, and it could pay off.
The group of 3 at the front. Thies, number 1, Tocznik, number 2. Well, Tocznik now makes a move to the front. It's really insignificant to say who is 1, 2, and 3 because they are changing the leads and working together. They are not racing among themselves, but racing as an alliance of Austrian, Belgian, and Frenchmen.
This is the next to last hill on the circuit. This is the one point, maybe aside from the big hill, where to save your legs you might want to shift from the big chainring to the small chainring, which means selecting a gear that's easier to turn over. But actually these racers are rolling so well that they may stay in a big gear and just muscle it over the top to keep the speed high. And for sure, at the end of the race, anybody who wants to be in the hunt for a medal is going to be in a very big gear at this point, rolling at about 35 or 38 miles per hour.
What are most of the riders set up with as a big chainring? What are the gearing ratios?
Well, it really ranges. For example, Lance Armstrong, I believe, is using a 53-tooth big chainring, which is the standard that if you went into a bicycle shop and bought an $800 road bike, you could very well get a 53-tooth front chainring. Bob Miansky, on the other hand, he's a muscle man, and with an eye on that final sprint, he has selected a 55-tooth big chainring, which is massive. To turn over a 55-tooth chainring, to get that gear to spin, you really, really have to be strong, and even the top professionals will struggle to do that. Not many use a 55-tooth ring. We'll see if it helps Miansky late in the race.
Riders have been on the San Siderni circuit for nearly an hour, close to completion of the 3rd lap. And leaders remain number 74, Hervé Pascal of France, number 19, Erwin Thies of Belgium, and number 17, George Tocznik of Austria. But the pack is in pursuit.
With the lead at just a bit over 1 minute, still nothing to worry about. But in an amateur race, I can only see a breakaway like that staying away so long before the field really starts coming forward. Maybe the midpoint, the 6th lap, is when you'll see faces like Lance Armstrong of the United States and the Italian team and the Dutch, because they know they can't let those 3 get too far ahead or stay out too long.
We've talked a lot about Armstrong, and this is rider number 122. Looking for neutral support.
Neutral support, Greg, is provided by a components manufacturer. They have spare bikes on top of a car, spare wheels, and since there are many different pedaling systems, cleat to pedal attachments, they have to have all those different kinds of systems mounted on bikes on top of the car, and they have to get out of the car, go up to the racer, ask him what kind of pedals he uses, and then bring out the appropriate equipment. But in that case, we were looking simply at a flat tire.
Pedaling through town, San Siderni, population of 9,000. Of course, Cava is the driving force. Champagne, the wineries throughout the valley. The threesome finishing up lap 3.
Well, you had mentioned the Italians, Tim. We see the number signs if we get the view from the rear, or here we see it again, 400. That is the number of meters to the finish line, which will be critical if there is a decisive sprint at the end. The riders will be able to gauge their distance to the finish line. And of course, there are 9 more laps to go, so there will be no sprinting now through town. You had mentioned the Italians. David Rebellin, runner-up in last year's World Championships. Mirko Guardi, world champion in 1990. They're going to be a factor later on.
The Italians have one of the best organized and best prepared cycling programs in the world, and historically they've won 4 of the last 12 Olympic Games men's road races, so that's 33%. And if you figure that there are 60-something countries involved here, that's a real odds-defying record. So you'd have to count the Italians as probably the strongest nation in this field. They've changed their uniforms a little bit, actually. The color used to be azzurri, which is sea blue, but as we'll probably see in a minute, they're riding a lighter powder blue uniform here. Looks pretty weird to my taste, but maybe it'll bring them new luck, new uniforms. Actually, you can see on the left-hand side of the screen right there, you saw a brief glimpse of the powder blue of Italy.
Powder Azzurri.
Powder Azzurri. And a lead of 1 minute and 5 seconds. Field comes across. Still not too much to worry about. Chinese rider at the front of the formation there.
Took the leaders 23 minutes and 18 seconds to negotiate the San Siderni circuit. Ironically, lap 2 was 23 minutes and 17 seconds. So, Tim, they have the timing down, and they are just about on their proper pace. They have a pretty good feel for the course at this point.
The very first lap, Randy, was 21 minutes and 55 seconds. And that speaks to the anxiety of starting the Olympic road race. The average speed came down a full mile per hour for lap 2 and 3.
Fans along the course trying to spearhead an attack by one of their home riders. Obviously, different countries represented, and fans along the course cheering their favorite on.
2 of the largest contingents of fans come from Switzerland, and you're going to hear a lot of cowbells today, and from Italy. The Italians, they're all wearing T-shirts. Casertelli of Italy has a giant fan club here. I saw maybe 75 or 80 members all wearing Casertelli T-shirts. Big banners, big signs. The American contingent is somewhat smaller, and they've done most of their fan appeal on the road in paint on the climb for Lance Nice overhead shot of the field. This race is being covered from helicopter, from motorcycle mounted cameras, and from at least 10 fixed cameras, giving a non-stop impression of the course.
Of course, the riders go through tiny villages and hamlets spread throughout the valley. It really is a picturesque course for all these riders to try to negotiate.
And not much of a sense of concern among the pack. Riders at the front. Pat Jonker, number 8.
With him is Darren Smith from Australia, number 12.
And that's Richard Grondahl from the Netherlands.
And the lead group of 3.
Temperature is going up now. It's probably in the mid-80s. There's not much wind today, and actually the air is a bit clearer than it's been all week. Some of the distant mountains, including Montserrat, the famous monastery, are visible today, and they've been obscured by the fog all week.
What I always find fascinating is that in the pack, even in the midst of the race, there are often casual conversations going on, riders talking about things completely unrelated to racing.
I guess it's nice to be relaxed when you're doing your trade. And these riders are relaxed. They're not concerned that the 3, Pascal of France, Thies of Belgium, and Tachnik of Austria, have better than a minute advantage. Now we have an attack.
And that is Mohammed Hassan from Burundi.
Tim, is this impatience on his part with a long way to go? Maybe go after the leaders because he's a little concerned?
Impatience, that's exactly it, Randy. And I think there's also a realization that he could not make this kind of move 2 hours from now. You want to have some kind of Olympic memory, something besides just sitting in the pack. So why not try something? You can always you can tell your grandchildren that you attacked in the Olympic Games and left the best racers in the world behind, and even made it to the front group. Though I don't think that Hassan has that kind of power, especially since the front trio is rolling so well.
Plus, he's also made his attack on the descent here, where the front group will have good speed, and it will be hard for him to make a difference as an individual rider.
Well, if nothing else, we'll remember his socks.
His moment of glory.
Burundi pink.
Stylish. And perhaps fashionable in his country.
And now we're starting to get pretty good action. I think that impatience, yes, there's number 127 from the Netherlands.
Richard Grondahl.
And he catches Hassan and passes him. And I would call that a defensive move, just making sure that no one leaves the pack. That's what the Dutch will do.
Tim, you chatted about about Lance Armstrong wanting to make his move a little bit later, but now he's watching other riders attack the lead pack. You think he'll still bide his time?
Yes, he'll still bide his time because it's still too early. Armstrong is keying off a few stars like Mirko Gualdi of Italy and Eric Decker of the Netherlands. He's going to watch them, and if they go forward with an attack, he'll be tempted to go because he recognizes their power and their past accomplishments. Otherwise, he's just going to sit tight and not worry. And he'll keep reminding himself that the lead for the three leaders is just a minute and change, which is not much for a field with so much talent and power to close.
Well, other riders made the jump and are trying to come forward. 159, Urs Güler of Switzerland. Rider number 52, Juan Rosero of Ecuador.
It's unusual to see an Ecuadorian in a breakaway in the Olympic Games.
211 is Nathal Sagardi of Canada.
And the three leaders are now on the climb. Still rolling very well, maybe even a little bit more aggressively than before. But you can see the mouths are open now, and that says that the effort has taken a toll.
The adrenaline rush over and reality setting in for the leaders.
This is a chase group. Seems fairly well organized. Republic of South Africa competing in the Olympic Games for the first time in years.
Since 1960.
Two more racers coming up to join, perhaps. But the field really isn't far behind. Good mix of countries.
Colorful sights with the different uniforms representing the different countries. And it does appear that the pack is cutting into the lead. They've made up ground and time.
And that was Lance Armstrong leading the field. One way to tell Armstrong is by his distinctive pointed helmet, and also he unzips his jersey down to give air to his chest, because he needs to breathe and he doesn't like to be stifled. And the three leaders roll over Lance Armstrong's Texas flag.
And we've got the clock on the lower left that will indicate the difference between the lead group and the chase group. And on the climb, the pack stretches out. An American flag being run along the side of the course to cheer on Armstrong, who just passed out of the frame on the left. Really, the kind of temperature here, I think, would be perfect for Armstrong, given his background, being a Texas boy.
Lance said last night that he wants it to be as hot as possible. And in that sense, he may be a little bit disappointed that it's not 10 degrees warmer.
43 seconds. The chase has closed down on the leading trio.
The trio at one point was up 1 minute and 26 seconds, so their advantage is evaporating in a hurry. Aerial view, and you can see how spread out the field is at this point.
Rider number 19, Erwin Thies. There are the front three, Hervé Pascal and George Tuchnig of Austria, Pascal of France, Thies of Belgium.
And it does appear that there is communication between the three as they work together to once again try to pull ahead of this group.
There he is, the man.
Lance Armstrong, his jersey zipped down almost to his navel already. And I think that says something, Greg, to see Armstrong at the front. It's his first appearance. It's almost like a play where the big star doesn't make his first showing until the end of the first act.
Do you think that Armstrong's reputation has caused some concern among the Italians? Is he being marked by everyone?
Absolutely. Armstrong won the last big gathering of all these racers. It was a stage race in the Basque Country in Spain, and on the final day, as if to say, I'm ready for the Olympics, Armstrong took the victory in a sprint. You don't win 13 races, you don't beat the pros without building some kind of reputation. And I would have to say that Armstrong, Mirko Gualdi of Italy, and Eric Decker of the Netherlands are the 3 most watched racers in this field. And that's a bit of a disadvantage because it means that any attack that you try is more likely to be countered.
169, Michael Anderson of Sweden. Tried to make him push, make a bid toward the leaders. And again, the 3 leaders are Pascal, Thies, and Tachnik.
And we see Christian Meyer of Germany moving to the front. You know, it's only 3 racer teams here. In the Tour de France, each team starts with 9 riders. And a 3-rider team really can't do that much to shape a race. You simply don't have enough guys.
Tim, what's the camaraderie between a Lance Armstrong, a Bob Miansky, and a Petty?
Well, Miansky and Armstrong know each other well. Miansky, of course, has been around a lot longer than Lance. Tim Petty, well, he's a newcomer and really not well known to either Armstrong or Miansky. And to be frank, my guess is that both Armstrong and Miansky had other racers in mind for the 3rd position on the team, other racers who would better complement their skills. But now they really have Tim Petty. That they're stuck would be one way of looking at it, or another is Petty proved himself to be one of the most capable racers for the United States, and he earned his